She's a part of the Youth Commission, and she shadowed me today. And she goes to St. Francis. She's a sophomore, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right. You want to say something? Tell them something. Put the pressure on you. Take it off.
Hi, I'm Olivia. I go to St. Francis. I like to play the guitar and the piano.
Who's your favorite artist?
I really like John Mayer. And the Police.
All those tattoos here?
No, I don't like the tattoos. No, not at all. I like his music.
All right. Lisa Lewis. All right, we got a host of things. I have one main topic today, certainly open to any other topics you folks have. Let me start by saying why we're here today. You know, I decided to run for mayor in Sacramento because I think we needed a change in our city. I'm here today to say that reform is what people want very clearly. And I brought something before the city called an executive mayor form of government, also known as strong mayor, and felt very strongly that that form of government would make a difference in our community. There was a lot of criticism early on whether or not it was done or brought forward the right way or properly. So let me say here very clearly, I think the process that we did could have been done better, and I will take full ownership from the standpoint that it wasn't a situation where we got as much input as we would have ideally wanted. With that said, over the last 13, 14 months since I've been in office, I've listened to what people said, whether it be on the initiative that I brought forward, whether it be listening to the Charter Review Committee, whether it be listening to my council colleagues, whether it be listening to the public. It was listening, and I think what I'm bringing forward today is a collaborative reform package that's taken into consideration with what everyone has said over the last 8 to 9 months in terms of charter review, as well as the general public. So this reform package is as follows. Number one, a modified executive mayor form of government. There's 5 points. A modified executive mayor form of government. Number two, an independent budget analyst. Number three, an ethics committee. Number four, term limits. And number five, voter reapproval. So I'll touch on each of those for a moment. In terms of modified executive mayor, the proposal we brought forward is certainly one that I thought was solid, but I think we can do a better job based on what I've heard in terms of input. So there's 3 core components in an executive mayor form of government. Number one is budget. The mayor should be able to propose the budget, and it's approved by council. The mayor should also be able to hire and fire key personnel. You're talking assistant city managers, deputies, and department heads, not willy-nilly or a broad range of people. And number three, the ability to veto certain items, with council having the ability to override. So those are the 3 core components that will be brought forward with the initiative that I prepared initially through SAG. On the flip side, changes in terms of what we've heard in terms of input. We will pull out charter officers. That was a big issue for people, with the exception of the city manager. So charter officers will be appointed by council members, very similar to how it currently exists. Number two, we need some clarifying language in terms of residual powers. There was a lot of talk on whether a mayor in this structure that I was bringing forward could hire and fire 4,000 people, and then it was 800. That was never the intent. So I think we can put clarifying language to be very specific in terms of what that would mean. And I think we can also clarify District 9. So that's what the modified executive mayor piece looks like. In terms of independent budget analysts, I believe very strongly, and I think 50,000 people also believe very strongly, that this independent body can be another set of objective eyes on our budget process. So if this form of government goes forward, I would be able to propose the budget. The independent budget analyst, which reports to council, would give objective insight and thoughts and analysis on the budget, and I think that's very good. Where we are right now in council is before council. Council could do one of 2 things. They could either adopt this ordinance as is, because there's already been an initiative ordinance brought forward, or they can put it on the ballot. I think council has an opportunity to adopt it as is. What we're talking about right now in council is whether or not we should come up with a hybrid or a third watered down version, and I don't think that's in the best interest of the city. In terms of ethics committee, I think everyone knows what an ethics committee is. The 3 points I'll talk about real briefly: the ability to look at oversight in terms of ethics, the ability to train people, city employees, etc., and elected officials, and then thirdly, the ability to investigate situations. And if you look at what's going on right now, there's a lot of distrust in the public from elected officials, and very well what's even happened here in the city of Sacramento. Number 4, term limits. I am personally indifferent on term limits. I can go either way. I think the best way to limit somebody's term is the responsibility of voters to get somebody in and out of office. However, when you change this form of government, I think it gives people an ability to breathe differently, and when you limit someone's term, I think it creates a better environment for people, and certainly that's what I heard from the Charter Review Commission, as well as council members and general people from the public. So term limits certainly is something that I think we should consider. And then lastly, a voter reapproval. What that essentially means is you try it for a period of time, and if you like it, the voters get a chance to say, let's take it on again and make that part of our charter and constitution going forward. If you don't like it, you can modify it, and if you really don't like it, you can throw it out. It's also called a sunset. So that's pretty similar to what cities do around the country. So again, I think this is a reform package that's very broad. There's five pieces in there. It's very collaborative. It's what we've heard people say over the last 8 months, 10 months, 12 months, 14 months. I think there's an opportunity for council, quite honestly, to do something that no one thinks can happen. I think we have an opportunity as a council to put this on the ballot and let the voters vote for it in June. It has to get to a situation over the next 2 weeks where there's enough back and forth with council and different people where they feel good about this. But again, there are people suffering. There are people that do not want us to continue to wait. They have a sense of urgency for reform. This gives us an opportunity to do it. And honestly, somebody I saw the other day is like, Mayor, you can't give up. Things have to happen different. We don't want to wait till far down the road for 20 more elections. You brought forward something that was very public. I told that person, yes, I did, but however, it could have been done better. And I think this is something that addresses a lot of concerns. I think it's a consensus package, and I think it also addresses the concerns of a lot of my critics as well. So that's it. Open to questions or other.
Mayor, have you talked